What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Boost Brothers Garage. Today I am going to install some yellow headlight tint on the E92 M3 headlights. Stay tuned. A little bit of research on how to remove these headlights. Unfortunately, you have to take off the bumper and some other shit, I don't know, but I just realized all the research I did was to take off a 335 bumper and not an M3 bumper, so yeah, I'm just gonna send it and I'm gonna figure this shit out. We did this once before on the Cayman and we tried to film it. We didn't publish that video because we sucked at it. And ultimately I think it's going to be a lot easier to remove the headlights and do it this time. And that's why I'm going that route instead of just doing it with them on the car. We also have these carbon fiber eyebrows on here. I want to keep those, so I'm going to take those off, take the headlights out, put the tint on there, and then put the eyebrows back on top of that if it looks right. We'll take a look when we get there. But right now, I'm going to start trying to figure out how to pull this bumper off. Let's do it. All right, guys, so first step to take off the bumper is we're going to take out this inner fender liner. And that's going to give us access to the supports for the bumper on the side behind the headlights. To take out the inner fender liner, it's pretty easy. There's about 8 mil bolts in here that you'll take off along the inner side of the fender here. And then the front fender liner separates right about here. There's 2 8mm up there, a couple on the back side, and then there's like a 10 mil on the bottom. Just be aware that there's some sensors on the back, on the front side of these fender liners. There's just a clip that you'll unhook those and then set the fender liner to the side. So I'll take this one off and show you what it looks like behind it. All right, so here's the sensor on the front side of the fender liner I was talking to you guys about. All you're gonna wanna do is take a small flathead, pry this little clip up right here gently, and then pull her off. And that's it. The 2 bolts that hold the bumper to the fender sit in front of the inner fender liner. Right here is one, and right here is the second one. So once you remove those, you can see you can pull that back. So we also have these 4 bolts here. Those are going to be the last 4 that we take off. Right now I'm going to go under the front bumper, and I think there's about 10 or so 8 mils down there. I'm going to take those off. We'll jump up top, take these off, and then the front bumper should come out. All right, now you guys can see there's 7 8 mils along the bottom. 2 of mine are missing, unfortunately, but we're just going to take those off from down here and then we'll hop back up top. All right, last step, take these 4 Torx bolts out of the top. They're a T30. Take those off and then we should be able to pull the front bumper.
The headlight washers, as you pull the front bumper off, it just kind of pops right off of there, so nothing to worry about with those, which I think is different than like the 335s. And there you have it.
Pretty easy once you get all the 400 bolts out. Okay, so one of the reasons we had to take the bumper off is there's not enough clearance, one, with the bumper on to even get under the headlight, but even with the bumper off, you still have this carrier that you can't get to the bolt that's right back here. So you have to pull the headlight and the carrier. To do that, there's a couple T30s up here, a couple right beside the light. Then the last T30 is right here at the top of the headlight. And then there's one 8mm bolt that you have to pull off from right up here from a little bracket. That'll release it. And then the final thing, just pop this cover off of the headlight washer, and that will drop the washer down and allow you to pull the headlight out. You push this top tab down through, and then this same with the front, and it'll just pop up. So headlights are off of the car. We've got them on the bench here. I'm going to start by taking the headlight bucket, cradle, I don't know, whatever this black thing is, I'm gonna take this off. So let's do that now. Looks like there is 2 Torx T30s that hold this on. You've got one right here, and you've got one right on the back side. So I'm gonna take those out. See you in a second. Once those are off, this just separates from the housing, and we'll set this aside. So I don't have a heat gun, which probably is a mistake. One, because I'm not very patient, like to the point to where Mike's windshield video, that windshield would have been broken after the first time the wire broke. and I need to get this carbon fiber eyebrow off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the wire that Mike used for the windshield and see if I can't get it off that way. But I haven't heated it up or tried to loosen it, so we'll see how this goes. Oh, that's not good. All right, so I broke it. Let's go to this side. All right, so that wire cuts through your fingers if you don't have gloves on, so we're going to do that. It is working, but I did already break a little piece of the carbon fiber on the other side. I really don't even love these things, so I don't know why I don't just break them off, but I don't know. I want to see what they look like with the yellow headlights, but this is pissing me off right now. Pretty sure I'm scratching the headlight. All right. Well, looks like I scratched the headlight. We're tinting them, and that eyebrow is going to cover it back up, so fuck it, right? The next step is to get this thing all cleaned up. Now, they specifically say not to use any chemicals. They want you just to wash it with filtered water about 3 times. I have leftover adhesive from these on there, so what I'm going to use is rubbing alcohol. Hopefully that doesn't screw me in the end, but I'm pretty sure I was going to suck at this whether I did it by the directions or not. Here we go. By the way, pro tip, if you're using rubbing alcohol, it's got the little protective cap on it. Don't pull that off with your mouth, because when it breaks loose, you squeeze this bottle and then you ingest rubbing alcohol and you throw up. So I got most of the adhesive off. I don't see any left, but as you can see, this is why I need Mike around. Let me see if I can get it to focus. Yep, you can see I scratched the lens. See, I don't think before I do things. It's a major problem I have in my life. But I learn better from experience, so I know not to do that anymore. I think it would be okay if you had a heat gun. It would have loosened the adhesive up. So if you're in this situation, make sure you use a heat gun. All right, so I'm going to go ahead now. I'm going to wash it with just water 2 to 3 times, and then I'll show you the film and we'll get started on that. Okay, headlights all cleaned off. Here is the actual Lamin-X film. It's thick. I mean, it's very thick, so it also protects your headlights. I think you can get it in clear. You can get it in, I don't know. You can get it in some colors. Clear, blue tint, yellow, shit like that. I'm not sure. So what I'm going to do is, with just filtered water, I'm going to wet down the housing completely. Then I'm going to take off the backing to the Lamin-X. They've got these 2 tabs here, so I'll make sure that I'm holding on to those tabs so I'm not getting fingerprints on the back. And I'm going to place it on the lens itself, and I'm going to try to line it up with one of the straight edges. And since I have the eyebrow, I'm going to go off the bottom because I'm confident that the eyebrow will cover up any kind of gap or anything on the top. Here goes nothing. This is really the hardest part, is just finding your line. Alright, that looks like a pretty good starting point. This isn't quite as low as I would like it. You don't really want to touch the back of the film without having a lubricant there. And another reason why I'm wearing gloves. So right now, having a heat gun would be very beneficial to helping me stretch this. But I think that line is close enough for us to start squeegeeing and trying to get it laid out. You want to spray down mist the outside with filtered water so that it's a barrier, a lubricant for whatever kind of squeegee you're using. I am always not prepared, so my squeegee is going to be my military ID card. Got to be good for something, right? Alright, I'm going to make sure it's clean as can be so that if I have to pry up the material, it doesn't get contaminants on it. And let's get started squeegeeing. Like I stated, I'm mostly focused on the bottom edge right now. I want to try to get that as lined up as possible. Be careful how hard you push down, because you can break the film. Now this film is self-healing, so over time it will fill its holes in on its own. We've got most of this bottom edge lined up where we need it. So now I'm going to go back in and work my way up to try to set that top edge. So once you have everything kind of where you want it, I just go back over the middle parts and try to find any bigger air bubbles that I can. Over the weeks, the condensation that's left underneath will eventually dissipate out of there. Okay, I think that's as good as I'm gonna get it. So you can see there are some spots that it still visibly have air bubbles. Let me see if you can focus. See, like there's one there. Here's one here. But if I try to get those out any more than I already have, it's already sealed so well against the edge. Pushing that water out really is going to be impossible, and I'm going to end up breaking the film there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these on the car, let them sit for 3 days to a week, and then if any of that's still there, I'll go in with a needle and I'll just poke it. It'll release the water out, and then that will self-heal on top of itself. So it won't look outstanding for the first few days, but I think it'll work itself out. That's pretty much how that goes. So I'm going to put these things back together, and then I'm going to get them back on the car. Obviously everything is reverse of what I showed you guys to do earlier, so I'm going to go ahead and get after it now, and then I'll show you the final product. Alright guys, so I finished the install and I was in a hurry because I had to be at a friend's house for dinner last night. So I went ahead and just took off, gave it a day to kind of see if any of the condensation behind the film would go away. There's still some spots, definitely. I think I'm going to give it like a week or so, and then I'll go in with a safety pin or a needle or something and hit those holes if there's anything left after about a week. Overall, I like it. It's definitely not a professional job, but what I can say, love it or hate it, I don't look like any other M3 in Cincinnati, so that's what I was going for. Thanks for watching. I'll let you check it out. We'll see you next time.